in the mirror, man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you.
Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now because this is not the show for you. Now, in this reaction video, y'all, what I'm going to show you, man, you know, there are certain women in the black community who want to say that white men, in their own opinion, they want to say white men only see them as objects of desire. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let this woman talk about what I just said, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you my commentary. Before I do that, go ahead and hit the notification bell. Once you do that, select the option that says all. That way you'll be informed of all my new content. Can you dig it? Now, let me go ahead and get this thing on the screen for you. All right, let's get it.
Talk about it. So, do some of these men masculinize black women? Abso-fucking-lutely. But that's like part of it. There's like a larger baseline that we got to talk about. A lot of these types of white men, right? They basically look at black women as having all of the parts that a white woman would have, but less dignity. So
let's go ahead and jump in right there. You know why white men, and not just white men, men of different cultures and different backgrounds, different races, look at black women as women who lack dignity? It's because of the images that women themselves are portraying to the public. It is in their music. It is in their videos. It is in their TV shows. It is in their verbiage. It is in their social media accounts of them twerking, dressing lewd, talking lewd. And they always like to brag about their sexual exploits. They always like to talk about the newest thing they got going on in the bed, about the roles, about this and about that, about this and about that. Anything that is derogatory, anything that is provocative. This is why not only white men view, in my most humble opinion, black women in such a way. It's almost all men who think like that, including the brothers in the community. Can you understand me, Jack? But let's keep going on with what she said, man.
for these guys, they essentially believe that black women are more sexually adventurous than white women. And it's important to really point out that for a lot of these white men, they view these white women with a certain degree of like purity, right? They see white women as pristine and pure, and something to therefore be corrupted by them or a black man, right? Whereas they'll see black women as just corruptible, not just.
Can you blame them? Can you blame any man? Because there are brothers in the community who think the same way, because women in our community put themselves out there as if they are corruptible. Anytime a woman say, I get the bag, or let me say it like this, give me $40 to bust these cheeks wide open. He gotta have finance before romance. He'll dust it if you don't pay for this. He can't get none of this coochie if you don't got no money. You come across as corruptible. And also as someone who has no value. Someone who perceives themselves as only a piece of meat. They used to say that men viewed them as pieces of meat. Now they're putting themselves out there as pieces of meat. Don't get mad because all the men you sleeping with are dogs when you portray yourself as dog food. You understand what I'm saying, Jack? Let's keep going, man.
Corruptible, but they also will see these black women as more likely to accept some of their fetishes, some of their kinks than white women. It took me a very long time to recognize that some of the white men who approached me were, approaching me with that in mind. They were approaching me with this idea that because I was black and they were white, there was going to be a certain way they could treat me. They can get away with treating me a certain way, and they don't necessarily have to respect me in the way that they would a white woman. And in my experience with these men, a lot of times, and this is my experience, right? they'll have this expectation of me of being not very intelligent, right? They will sort of assume that all I do is fuck, basically. All I exist for is to fuck, right?
That is because of the energy that black women are putting out there. You make it seem as if all you're good for is the fucking. And they may think that you are not as intelligent as you would like to think you are, simply on the way that you carry yourself. There's a lot of black men and black women who look at other black women and think that they're not as intelligent as they may think they are because of how they act. So you can't blame this on white men, black men, Mexican men, Samoan men. You can't blame it on nobody except yourselves, man. It's just the truth of it, man. I'm gonna chill back a little bit, let it just play out.
And then we'll talk to each other, and then they'll start to register that I'm smart, and that'll suddenly start to be something that shifts everything in their mind, right? Like, they'll start to be like, wait a minute, I can't quite treat her a certain way because she clearly, like, understands a lot of the things that I'm saying. And so sometimes they'll kind of, like, start to get a little bit weird about it. And they'll end up in this position where when they compliment you, they can only compliment you in comparisons to white people. So, like, I've had a lot of people say, after saying that I was so smart, that they weren't, like, expecting for me to sound a certain way. They weren't expecting me to sound like this. I was dating this professor once, and one thing he would say over and over again was that he was so surprised by how intelligent I sounded. And it's weird.
If you dated a man who kept telling you that, that means that he really thought you were stupid. That's one. But two, you kept fucking the man after he told you that he thought you were stupid. If a man keep telling you that, I didn't think you were this intelligent, I didn't think you were like this at all, and you keep giving him the coochie, you are proving that man right because he's disrespecting you. And you're surprised that that man thought he could treat you any kind of way. He's treating you any kind of way now, but you are a little too slow now, honey child, to understand that he keep calling you stupid. I didn't think you was this intelligent. Oh, I didn't think. Oh, God, I didn't know it was this good, but I didn't think you was that intelligent. I mean, come on, man.
Because this was a guy that I met online, right? He saw my long ass, well-written profile, and that should have given you at least some impression of my intelligence, right? But they'll still acknowledge that I'm intelligent, and then they'll look at my face and they'll start to, like, see things in my face that they like, but they can't quite see those things as black things. So, like, for me, for example, a lot of times I'll have people say that, men say that I look like I could be Asian. I hear that a lot.
Sure.
And they'll often ask with a subtext that makes it clear that if I were part Asian, that would be a good thing. And I think the way that they ask these questions, the way that they kind of, like, interrogate in these things, it's very clear that they hold certain presumptions about a person's personality on the basis of their race. So usually when they start to kind of register that I'm not someone that they can just sexualize, that's when they'll start to sort of suspect that I might be mixed race, right? Now to my knowledge, I'm adopted monoracial black ass woman, right? But I will so often have conversations with white men where they're complimenting my appearance, they're complimenting me, but they're doing it in a tone where they're basically trying to tell me that I would be better if I were not fully black, right? And it's really, really, really weird. But yeah, that's kind of the way these guys look at it. Like, the blacker you are, the more sexually adventurous you are. If you speak a certain way, if you are able to string a couple of sentences together, that must mean that you're partially, like, mixed race. And I point that out because a lot of these men, it really is like, it's like they genuinely struggle to comprehend the idea that these traits can exist in all races. That's why for a lot of them, they have this like one singular view of Black men. Like I've always thought the BBC thing was really funny because maybe I just have bad luck when it comes to Black men, but I have known a lot of ABCs in my life, you know? Who knows? Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But like they have this really specific way of looking at Black men where even if the BBC is actually an ABC, it's a BBC, right? Because they've like essentialized Black men and they have a hard time like sort of understanding that people can exist outside of these boxes, right? Because to them, you're a porn category, essentially, you know? They look at Black women as ebony, right?
And you cannot really blame these men because that is how most of these women today that are in the Black community are carrying themselves. Yeah, I thought I'll just hit you with something like that, Jackie, and let me know what you think about that. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Hope y'all enjoying y'all morning, man. I'll be getting at y'all pretty soon. Y'all take it easy now here.